The story of Krishna and Indra is a map of consciousness. It charts the relationship between the governing self and the pull of the senses. This is not a myth of the past. It is a diagram of the inner world, active within you now. This tale unfolds a profound psychological insight. In this story, divine figures are not distant gods. They represent powerful internal forces. Indra is the king of the Indriyas, the entire sensory domain. The villagers, the Brijavasis, signify our own thought patterns. They are aligned with established habits, with societal norms, following traditions without question. This is the mind on autopilot.
This moment captures the awakening of the conscious mind. It is the point of realization where the self begins to question the logic behind its own sensory indulgences.
Here, Krishna guides the villagers' thoughts. He redirects them from a mindset of lack, which hopes for future reward, to one of gratitude for manifest reality. One path looks to the clouds for what might be. The other gives thanks to the mountain that already provides.
When the desires of the senses are denied, the body rebels. Indra's storm is the body's storm. It is the flood of hormones and chemicals released into the system when an ingrained habit is broken.
The villager's fear mirrors our own involuntary reactions. When we break from deeply ingrained habits, our physical impulses twitch and react. The system registers the change as a threat, and the mind fills with doubt.
This is the response of the awakened self. Consciousness acts. It does not simply react. It raises a shield of gratitude, the mountain of what is real and present, to protect the system from the chemical storm unleashed by the senses.
For 7 days and nights, the storm rages, but it has no effect. Under the protection of the steadfast conscious mind, the turbulence of the body continues, but it cannot touch the centered self. Consciousness simply holds its ground.
Witnessing this unwavering stability, the senses surrender. Indra's pride dissolves. The king of the senses acknowledges a higher power, recognizing the authority of consciousness.
The literal narrative is a vessel for a deeper truth. The story now pivots to its core allegorical significance, revealing a map of the inner self.
Each element of the story corresponds to a facet of our own internal landscape. Krishna is the conscious mind. Indra is the senses. The Brijavasis are our thought patterns. And Indra's storm is the body's physiological resistance to change.
Indra is king of this entire sensory domain, which consists of 11 Indriyas. These include the 5 sensory inputs, like sight and sound, the 5 organs of action, like speech and movement, and the mind, which processes it all. He governs the automated, habit-driven self.
This conflict is an internal act. It represents the shift from unconscious reaction to conscious direction, where the self chooses to become the master of its own house.
This sequence maps the internal process of mastering the self. First, the awareness to question a habit. Second, the will to redirect thought. Third, the endurance to withstand the body's resistance. And finally, the surrender of the senses to a new, higher order.
The senses are not enemies to be destroyed. They are powerful forces to be aligned with a higher purpose. When guided by consciousness, they serve the self instead of ruling it.
This is the ultimate lesson of Govardhan. The mastery of the inner world is achieved not through battle, but through unwavering conscious awareness. The body realigns and the senses find their rightful place in service to the self.
This story is one of many maps to the inner self found within the Indic scriptures. To explore more of these mystic metaphors, find your copy of SWARAUM using the link in the description.